everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. This is the place where women who are aging beautifully come to be inspired. And we're going to be inspired today by Dr. Sanjiv Chopra. Dr. Chopra is a world-famous professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. He's a best-selling author and an inspirational speaker worldwide. He has written many books, including The Two Most Important Days, and the one that we're going to talk to about today, which is 5 simple things you can do to live a healthier, happier life. Dr. Chopra wants to inspire people to live a healthy and happy life, and he himself leads with heart and soul. And I'm just so happy to have you here with us today, Dr. Chopra.
Margaret, I'm delighted and honored to be on your show.
Thank you. Well, the reason I'm so excited to speak with you is that I've watched your TED Talks, I've read some of your books, and I know that the messages you have are very appropriate for the women in our 60 and Me community. So I'd love you, this conversation, to share with us those 5 mystical, magical things that we should be doing to live a healthier, happier life.
Yeah, so Margaret, the first one is coffee. And coffee, it turns out, my specialty is liver disease. I'm a hepatologist. And I became very intrigued more than 20 years ago when I came across a study published in one of our best medical journals. And it said that coffee drinkers have lower levels of liver enzymes in the blood. So when you go see your primary care physician once a year, they check your liver enzymes. They're elevated, always it's indicative of liver damage. Well, what does lower liver enzymes mean compared to people who don't drink coffee?
Okay.
So I was intrigued, but then the next study came out and it said people who drink coffee have less scarring in the liver, less hepatic fibrosis. And when there's lots of scarring with total distortion of the liver architecture, that's what we call cirrhosis of the liver. And that can lead to life-threatening complications, the need for a liver transplantation, and even the development of liver cancer. So coffee drinkers have low levels of liver enzymes, they have less scarring. Then a study came out that people who drink 2 cups of coffee a day have a 50% reduction in hospitalization and mortality, death from chronic liver disease.
So,
more than 1 billion people with chronic liver disease.
Why is that? Because, I mean, I drink a lot of tea. In fact, it's quite funny because every program I do on 60 and Me for the community, I start with, hello, everybody, I'm drinking my cup of tea this morning. So what is it about coffee that is, I mean, specifically so unique?
I'll come back to that. But the liver, lower enzyme, less hospitalization, mortality, less fibrosis or scarring.
Wow, interesting.
Cancer arising in the liver is the 3rd leading cause of cancer mortality in the world. In 11 countries, it's the number 1 leading cause of cancer mortality.
Gosh.
And if you drink 2 cups of coffee a day, 40% reduction in liver cancer mortality.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Liver disease, diabetes, lower risk of 7 common cancers, including metastatic prostate, endometrial, head and neck, liver cancer, skin cancer, and so on. Lower risk of cognitive decline, Alzheimer's. And now 4 studies that people who drink coffee, men and women, have low total and cause-specific mortality. None of these studies have been sponsored by Starbucks or any of the coffee making companies.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Peer-reviewed journals, and their mechanistic explanation. Coffee contains caviol, it contains cofestol, it's insulin sensitizing, it contains the richest antioxidant called chlorogenic acid. In the lab, if I take a potent liver toxin and produce massive liver injury, I can now repeat that experiment, but pre-treat the animal with caviol or cofestol, which is present in coffee, and it abrogates the injury.
Wow.
Now, what about tea? I give talks on liver disease around the country, around the world.
Yes.
In Anaheim, there are sometimes 7,000 clinicians, and there are many Indian doctors, and they come up to me, and they're almost militant.
My chai. I want my chai.
I didn't mention anything about tea. When I say to them, I have a wonderful saying, I say it's not been studied. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So try and drink coffee. The next year when I meet
Okay.
them, they come and say to me, Dr. Chopra, I'm drinking 2 cups of
Well, that's actually that I do drink coffee as well, so it's all fair. But that's a very, very interesting study. I mean, and this is great. We should point people to your website too. It's sanjeevchopra.com, because I'm sure you've got lots of articles and links to these research studies. So it's very interesting.
Terrific. So the first one is coffee. The second one, we all know, exercise.
Yeah.
Right? And people who don't exercise, who eat improperly, gain a lot of weight and become obese. Obesity to 20 different cancers. Not only diabetes, heart disease, liver disease, hypertension. And if somebody has cancer and obesity, they have a worse prognosis than the same cancer who are not obese. So exercise is the best medicine.
Yeah.
And motivate ourselves, whether it is even simply walking for 10, 15 minutes a day.
Right.
Can do a real jump start in getting exercise. So coffee, exercise. The third is vitamin D3. D as in Denmark. It's the only vitamin I recommend unless people are deficient in vitamins. They turn out to be anemic, they're tested.
Right. Right.
Deficiency, then it's appropriate to take those supplements.
Okay, but D3.
Or in pregnancy, women need to take folic acid to lower the risk of neural tube defects like spina bifida and anencephaly. So coffee, exercise, vitamin D. The fourth is nuts. All the nuts.
Wow. I love nuts. Yeah.
Including peanuts, which is technically not a nut. It's a legume, but they're now looking at just peanuts. And people who eat a small amount of nuts every day live longer. In the article in the New England Journal of Medicine,
that's interesting,
premium medical journal, in the discussion, it also says, I don't share this with patients, but I'm going to share it with your audience.
Okay.
Even those who are overweight and do not exercise, if they eat a small amount of nuts, live longer.
Okay, so is it all right if you have Brazil nuts with chocolate?
Yes.
Because I love Brazil nuts with chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Okay. It's actually really funny. Today, I have the strangest grandson. He's Max. He's 2 years old today. And I took him out for a little walk this morning, and we went to the shop to get some apples, and because he loves apples. But he saw the cashew nuts, and he said, Baba, he's pointing at them. And I've never met a 2-year-old who sits there and nibbles cashew nuts. So I think he's got a good head start. So, the fifth one is
coffee, exercise, vitamin D.
Nuts.
The fifth one is meditation.
Yeah.
So when that book came out, I did about 30 or 40 events, radio, TV. And I told everyone interviewing me, whether it was 10 minutes or an hour, I said, give me 1 minute at the end to summarize so everyone can remember. And they all did that. So I said, here's the deal. On a good sunny day, go for a brisk walk to your favorite Java shop. Now you got the vitamin D from the sun, you got the exercise from the walk, and you got the coffee. Don't go nuts remembering this.
Good. That's very cool. That's a good one sentence.
And before you go meditate, and there's an ancient saying, you should meditate once a day. And if you don't have time to do that, you should meditate twice a day.
Yeah, that is very cool. Do you know, it's really funny. I mean, we smile about it, but I'm telling you, meditation for me, I think I had been meditating, transcendental meditation, like when I was 20, right? So like 40 plus years. And it has got me through so many challenging times. There were times when I just thought, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold this together. And I would just sit and honestly, just work it through. It's such a cool way to focus your mind and just ride over things. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. So
I really do.
My brother, his wife, we've been doing it for 40 years. We also do transcendental meditation.
See, that was the secret. Maharishi knew it was.
No. And my wife, who's a pediatrician and brilliant, has now become a teacher of meditation.
That's great. And
got about 500 people from all over America and even abroad. And they are so extremely grateful to her. There's a wonderful book on, I think that maybe one of the best books on meditation is Strength in Stillness. by Rob Roth, who's a teacher of meditation. He's been teaching for more than 45 years. He works for David Lynch Foundation.
Yes.
David Lynch is raising $1 billion to teach TM to kids in our schools.
Yeah.
Many schools in America are now, instead of punishing a kid for something they did, is just have them sit and be silent.
Yes.
Be mindful or meditate, and it's having a huge impact.
If you know of any online programs for meditation, please tell me about them so I can reference them to the community. Because, I mean, Susan Piver does a program online. It's Open Heart Project. And are there any others that you know of?
Yeah, my brother Deepak Chopra and Oprah Winfrey do a 21.
They do, yeah.
They do a 21 day. But my feeling, to be very candid, if I was to learn tennis or to play good golf or to play an instrument, I'd go see a teacher.
In person, yeah.
I think the best way to learn meditation is to look up the yellow pages, look it up, and in every city in the world, there's teachers who were taught by Maharishi and teach the authentic meditation.
The mantra, the word that you can repeat over and over to remind you to hold your breath. Yeah, to mind your breath. Yeah.
All the other techniques work as well, but I think TM is the easiest and simplest.
Yeah. It's a good to remind me of that, because you think about it. It's such an old, so many years ago. But you're right. There's places in every town. Anyway, so that's the 5 things. So it's drink more coffee, get more sunshine, be active, eat nuts, meditate.
Yeah. So the vitamin D, I would suggest that every person get at least once a vitamin D3 level checked.
Yeah.
And it'll be astounding how many people are deficient. There are kids playing soccer in Florida who are turning out to be vitamin D deficient.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Getting a lot of sun, but the reason is the skin doctors have done a very good job, and we're all putting sunblock. Then you don't get the vitamin D. So when you're exposed to the sun, the skin makes vitamin D1, the liver converts it into D2, the kidney converts it into D3, which is the active ingredient.
Wow.
So blood level checked. And even if it is sufficient, if it's deficient, the person needs to take 50,000 international units once a week for about 3 months to get their blood levels normal. But even if you're sufficient, it's the only vitamin that I recommend as a supplement.
Okay.
I recommend one take 2,000 international units a day. You don't need a prescription. You don't get toxicity from vitamin D unless you have a rare condition called hyperparathyroidism or called sarcoidosis.
Okay.
So those 2 would be obvious.
Okay.
Your primary.
That's really good advice. And I think that coming from you, that's advice that we would want to pass on to our community. So check out Dr. Chopra's website, though, sanjeevchopra.com. The book that we've been talking about is called 5 Simple Things That You Can Do to Live a Healthier, Happier Life. And I'm just so happy to have you here talking with us, Dr. Chopra. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Our Patreon supporters help us to make a bigger difference in the lives of women over 60 all around the world. They get exclusive videos, live video shows, discounts, and much more. So please look for the link on this page. It is somewhere down here, up there. And join our tribe of women in our 60andMe community who are actually making a big difference in the world, challenging aging stereotypes. So thank you so much for your support.